Greetings everyone. Today our topic of discussion, or rather monologue, is energy conservation, energy rationing, and the worst word of all, blackouts. As you probably know, the European Union is saying that energy needs to be conserved if we're to make it through the winter, and it's going to be done voluntarily. How exactly, nobody knows. So I've come up with some ideas to help things happen the way the European Union wants them to happen, and so we can save energy and have a reasonably copable winter. Actually, some of the solutions were already there. I didn't exactly come up with them personally. For example, in Switzerland, people apparently have smart meters in their homes, which is apparently really convenient. I didn't know about this. I just learned about it recently. And it's really convenient. But not for the people, it's convenient for the utilities, because with smart meters, the power utility, as I understand, can see what temperature somebody is keeping at their house, and they can adjust it remotely. How fun is that, and how smart is that? I'd say it's very smart. So Switzerland, though not a member of the European Union, could be a good example for other European countries that are members, that are sufficiently advanced in terms of wealth and technology to have smart meters. Smart meters are one really smart decision to control people's heating, even if they don't want to do that. How's that for smart technology? It's amazing, isn't it? So that's one option, but there are many houses and flats and countries with no smart meters. So what do we do about them? Well, apparently, I already had an idea about that, but I hear that the leader of the Polish ruling party has beat me to it, and he stated it publicly before I could. Now, Lech Kaczynski said recently that if you can't afford to buy 3 tons of coal to last the winter, then you should buy half a ton of coal. Isn't this great? I mean, isn't this perfectly simple and sense-making? Of course it is. He is stating facts. If you can't afford to buy the bigger amount, just buy half of it, or even less. So what if you're going to be cold most of the time? Because half a ton of coal wouldn't get you very far in December and January, when it's the coldest, I imagine, just the way it's the coldest down here. It's great, but it sounds familiar, doesn't it? It does. The reason it sounds familiar is that the last Queen of France said something similar when there were food riots in Paris and surrounding areas because there was no bread. And Marie Antoinette allegedly said, there is no scientific consensus on this statement, by the way. So she allegedly said that if there is no bread, let them eat cakes. It does sound kind of like Kaczynski's coal solution. We all know how Marie Antoinette ended up, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen to a Polish politician or to any politician in Europe, but it's good to study history. I've always believed that, because history teaches us about certain mistakes that we could avoid making, because we already know what the consequences might be. And I bet that Polish people are not coming after Lech Kaczynski for him suggesting that they buy as much coal as they can afford and try to make do with it. But I'm saying that if I were Polish, I would be rather unhappy with this solution as offered by Mr. Kaczynski. Now, so we've got smart meters for the places that are progressed enough on the path of freedom and democracy to have smart meters, and we have the simple but elegant Marie Antoinette solution for places that do not have smart meters. So basically you're constrained in your energy consumption by your finances. Now the third solution is actually linked to the second one. It's called energy rationing. That's the delicate definition, I'd say. The not so delicate definition is simply blackouts, rolling blackouts, so you don't sink a whole city into darkness at the same time, but you roll them from area to area. And now, first of all, this is not a popular solution. This needs to be said up front, but it is an even simpler solution than the Kaczynski option. The reason being that you don't have to rely on people to be conscientious and to cut their own energy use because they can't afford it, or to go into debt in order to be able to pay for the energy they use, for the electricity. No, you make it easier for yourself and for them by cutting off their electricity access. They don't have to spend all that money on electricity. They don't have to go into debt to pay their electricity bills, because by you I mean the government, you take care of them by reducing their electricity consumption. It's simple. It won't be popular, as I said, but it's actually the best solution, come to think of it. You as a household, as a citizen, you don't have to do anything except accommodate the blackouts, which would probably be during during peak hours, because that's the idea of the European Union. We have to relieve the grid during peak hours. So there we have it. First, smart meters, the smart decision, then the Marie Antoinette decision, when you have to only buy as much energy as you can afford without going into debt, hopefully, and blackouts, the solution of all solutions. You don't need smart meters, you don't need to budget for coal or for anything. You just sit and wait for the government to solve your problem. So you'll be cold for an hour or two every day. So you'll have to cook at different times from what you're used to. So you might have to have, other things change around the house. But it's worth it, because you'll be saving money. It's that simple. If you don't consume electricity, you don't pay for electricity. And that's the only thing we need to remember when it comes to energy conservation. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.